people. I am excited to be back. Can you tell by my face? Oh my god, Happy New Year! Happy 2025. I hope this year is treating you well so far. I hope you are good. I hope you are nice. I hope you are lovely. And welcome to my space. My name is Yandi. I talk about spirituality, deconstruction, and today I want to properly introduce my Journaling 101 series where I just be vulnerable and talk about self-healing, self-evaluation, changing your inner narrative, stuff like that, right? It's just for me to be less researched and less deep. But the deep part is a lie. I'm always deep regardless of what I do. It's gonna be deep. But hi. Let's get into it. So what is shadow work? The term shadow work is derived by an analytical psychologist named Carl Jung. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but his name is Carl Jung. He defines the shadow as part of yourself that has been repressed and rejected because society has rejected it. And it manifests itself through triggers, unexplained projections, unexplained discomforts. For example, let me place an example. I need to mostly you are raised to be a people pleaser. You are raised to make people comfortable in some shape or form, right? So when you see someone who's authentically themselves and is not afraid to place boundaries, you might feel some form of discomfort, you might feel triggered, or you might even view that person as selfish, right? That is how your shadow communicates with you. But that's not where I want to focus on today. Today, I want to focus on how shadow work can be a gateway to your subconsciousness and an opportunity to know your inner narratives, right? To love them, to heal them, and to change them. So the reason why I'm bringing in shadow work, right? And starting with that as the first video is because it's a new year, right? And we have goals that we have set, intentions to grow, intentions to win. I want to talk about surrendering to our dreams, mostly surrendering to resistance, right? As a weirdo, as an astrology girly, I will obviously look into the astrology of the year, right? But mainly I was focusing on Mars because 2025 equals to 9 and 9 is equals to Aries, and Aries is governed by Mars, right? But mostly because for me I've been focusing on Mars because 2024 was very still for me, was very slow, was very still, and Mars is a planet of action and drive and passion, right? So I want to focus on that. And before I even dive into the astrology of the shadow work or whatever I'm talking about, really, I want to invite you in how I think and how my mind works. I want you to think of, when I talk about planets and astrology and things of that nature, I want you to think of them as aspects of yourself, right? Don't externalize kakhulu. Ungacabanga the planet Mars during its rotations and stuff like that. You're not gonna vibe with me, you're not gonna hear me, you're gonna think I'm weird, which is I am. But my point is, think of these planets as an aspect of your being, right? As a part of yourself in some shape or form. So when I say Mars symbolizes drive and ambition and passion, I am referring to an aspect of yourself that has drive, that has ambition, that has passion, that has... So you are the universe, you are God experiencing herself, right? So, as I've indicated, I was focusing on Mars because Mars represents ambition and drive and your ability to actively work on your goal. And I noticed that Mars is going in retrograde. It's in retrograde now until Feb. So he's in retrograde in Cancer, ne? So Cancer is a house of emotion, right? It's a very feely type of sign. It's a very emotional, and it is governed by the full moon, which means it governs your spirits, it governs your subconsciousness, right? And Mars, being an action-based planet, being in that house, right? It's giving a toddler throwing a tantrum. It's giving things are going well, and then there's a resistance of some sorts, right? Things are just hitting a weird pause. It feels icky, sticky, right? It's giving resistance. It's giving resistance either on the physical realm, right, or mainly resistance from yourself, né? And I want to, as I said, this shadow work series, this episode, I want to introduce surrendering to resistance, right? I know resistance is uncomfortable, resistance is wrong, it's demonized, it's you cannot be working on something and resist, right? But I want to introduce you to a certain perspective of resistance. So get your pen, get your paper, get your journal, right? Class is in session. So point number 1, resistance can be an invitation to pause and ask yourself, who is dreaming, right? As you look at your goals that you have set, ask yourself, is this really your dream, or it's what everyone else is doing, so you think you also should be doing it? I think most of us get hooked in that loop, right? Especially because we consume a lot of social media. People are doing like a lot of things on social media, right? And you can saboteur well. It's okay to saboteur well, like completely normal, right? But sometimes we saboteur well, but it's really not something that we really want to do in our lifetime, right? Because dreams are a lifetime commitment. As soon as you think of your dream and you only think of the good parts of the dream, and you don't think of the working that needs to be implemented, you don't think of the discomforts that you're gonna feel, you don't think of the lows of the dream, then who is dreaming, my love? Is it you? Is it really you? And this perspective really like shaped me when it comes to just setting up my YouTube, because I've been watching YouTube for like 2 years or 3, if I'm being honest with myself, né? And the content that is popular, it's mostly like how can I put it, lifestyle content, vlogs, challenges, game challenges, couple stuff, lovely, beautiful, right? And to a certain extent, I felt as if my channel needs to reflect that, right, in order for me to gain more audience or anything like that. And then I was met with resistance. I couldn't just put a phone here and talk, right? I would be bothered by the suitcases behind me, number one. I would be bothered by a lot of stuff happening here because I want to be aesthetically pleasing. And then on a random day, I was like, is this really what you want to do, Yandi? Or you just want to be your authentic self, which is just hop on the internet and copy the system. No Diddy pause. And resistance come, right? Journal prop number 1, right? When the pause period happened, when the ickiness, the uncomfortableness, and oh no, that's not a word, the discomfort comes, sit down and ask yourself, let's see, who is dreaming? And you will see what that will lead you to. Prompt number 2. Now that you know you are dreaming, now you know that your goals are actually yours and you have set them accordingly. Where is your emotional state as you try to achieve them? Where is your mind as you try to achieve them? Where is your emotional state as you try to achieve them? This is the most important part of the prompt, because your subconsciousness governs 90% of your actions, right? You don't think of breathing, you just breathe. You don't think of doing most of the things, you just do them, right? This is your subconsciousness communicating to your body on how to move or where to move. Therefore, the phrase your mind creates your reality can be amplified in this perspective, right? So I really want to cut it for you so it can make sense to you. Number one, you as a human being, right? You are led by the voice in your head. You can identify that voice as God. You can identify that voice as higher self, universe, ancestors, whatever, right? You have an inner narrative that is guiding you on the actions that you are compelled to do. The actions that you are compelled to do is influenced by your intuition. Your intuition is influenced by your subconsciousness, right? Your subconsciousness is influenced by your emotions, right? So, Yimuyandi, I act, I am guided by my inner narrative on how to move, where to move, right? My inner narrative is compiled by my intuition, right? By my subconsciousness and my emotions, right? It's a trinity, right? Your intuition receives information from the subconsciousness. The subconsciousness receives information from your emotions. Your emotions are energy in motion. Whichever energy has the most motion, whichever energy has the most charge, whichever emotions has the most reaction, has the most attention, it will be prioritized by your subconsciousness. Even if you choose to ignore it in the long run, it created the most reaction, right? Think of it as electricity. However you connect, your physical science students, help me out here. But whichever, the more potent the electricity, the more effect it causes, the more damage it causes, the more reaction it causes, right? Think of it like that. You are electricity in a sense. You are energy in a sense. So prompt number 2 is look into your emotions. How are you feeling, right? Not to demonize lower emotions, because emotions are emotions, but if lower emotions are the one that are circulating the most, where do you think your intuition will lead you? You're always at the wrong place at the wrong time. What's up with that? You're always attracting the same dudes. What's up with that? Right? So think of it as the devil here, there's God here, right? Who are you gonna listen to the most? Think of it like that. You obviously, if you constantly think low of yourself, right? You are mean to yourself, right? You will never please with anything you do. You are just a shitty person to yourself, right? Where will you be led in your physical reality? Which physical reality are you creating for yourself? Exactly. But essentially, 2025 is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I really want to dive into the astrology of it, but I think I have to use Patreon. I really have to use Patreon because I limit myself here on YouTube, right? Especially when it comes to astrology and things like that. There's so much I want to say, but I'm like, girl, no. not now, not here, right? But what I want to say to you is I hope you have a wonderful year. I hope you have patience with yourself. You love yourself in every form that you take. I hope as you work with yourself, as you work on yourself, right? I hope just things align for you beautifully, and in a way that you've never really imagined, right? And the theme of the year is let go and let God. The theme of the year is all paths lead to my desired reality. Regardless of things that are happening externally, because hence I'm saying I need to use Patreon for astrology. It's giving world war. I don't know if anyone else is feeling like that. Like, I see people are excited. I'm like, oh no. I'm sorry to be the party pooper. I'm really sorry, but essentially it's going to be beautiful. It's always beautiful, right? It's always beautiful. Life is always beautiful, right? But essentially what I'm saying is ground yourself, pray like crazy, and 2025, I wish it becomes a beautiful year for you and you actually win, you actually kill it. And yeah, man, I will see you in the next video. Bye. I didn't